For this past month's community video, I asked you what is one game that you would like to see announced in a Nintendo Direct, and here's what you said. We have gotten more answers this time than we ever have, by the way. We keep breaking that record every single month of how many people are giving answers for these questions. And I will say that in the future, we're going to be looking at how this will progress and how this series will progress, and I'm thinking that maybe it will turn into a live stream or something fun like that, so we can change it and make it last as long as possible, because as more people give answers, the longer the videos get, and I think eventually if the video is going to be like 2 hours or an hour and a half or something like that, it might be cool to just make it into a live stream or something like that. You never know. Crimson Piranha. Any game where Waluigi has a main role, because who doesn't love Waluigi? A game that I heard of years ago that was a game that a guy I like on YouTube wanted to make was a game called Waluigi Sneak and Love. It's basically a game where Waluigi tries to get different Mario characters dates and like sets them up with people. But the real catch is that Waluigi can't find love himself. So in the end, like the second act of the game, you're trying to find love yourself. And you get a family by the end of the game, and the next game, it's called Waluigi Now You See Me, and it's about the perils of marriage. I don't know why I'm bringing this up. It's the weirdest answer to a comment I've gotten, but I would love to see a game like that for Waluigi. Great character, to be honest. The Ultimate Diamond. A game I would like most to be announced at the next Nintendo Direct is Mario & Luigi 6. It's probably my favorite Mario series, and since Alpha Dream shut down, it will be great to hear the series is alive and well and will continue. I hope it will continue too. I played a Mario & Luigi game on the channel and I loved it to death. I thought it was really good. I think the only thing that I would like to do is before any new game comes out is probably try my hand at playing as much of the Mario & Luigi series as I can. I really like the game that I played, and I think that the whole series as a whole has a lot of potential. Coda. A remake of one of the older Zelda games, preferably the Oracle Duo. Great choice, actually. Great choice. This comment has a lot of likes for a reason. I think that's one of the series that, although those games are considered to be still very good, they're games that a lot of people won't pick up, and they're games a lot of people that feel like they're not as accessible. You can't get those games on the Wii U. I believe you can get them on the 3DS. For sure you can, I think, but I think a lot of people don't even use their 3DS anymore. I think a lot of people use their Switch. For me, I still use my 3DS, but I don't know, you tell me if you do as well. I would definitely like to see a remake of those as well. The Psychic Gamer. It would have to be either Mario Odyssey 2 or Mario Galaxy 3. Never played these games. Again, Mario is like a blind spot for me. It's a real big blind spot for me. But I think if they announce a Mario Odyssey collection, I think it'd be a good idea. I bought both of them on the Wii, but since there's rumors of Mario collections and stuff like this coming this year, I'm gonna wait to play them until we see the next big Nintendo Direct, which could be a while from now. Keeb 7900. I would love to see Mario & Luigi Partners in Time remade, because it's probably one of the most flawed Mario & Luigi games, with its problems probably being easily fixable. I don't disagree. Then again, now that Alpha Dreams is gone, it might be impossible. I just don't understand why they skipped over Partners in Time in favor of Bowser's Inside Story in the remake chronology. Because first of all, it's generally considered to be almost flawless, and also it's pretty much the same game with technically better graphics. Although they lack the charm of the original. I can't really say anything about Bowser's Inside Story. I will be doing a Let's Play of that game, maybe this year. I think it might be coming this year. All I can say about them remaking Partners in Time compared to remaking Bowser's Inside Story, I think they knew that Bowser's Inside Story would make more money, and it's about testing the waters of any series. That's what remakes kind of do, or remasters and remakes. So when they know that this game sells, then they're thinking to themselves, well, now other Mario & Luigi games will sell as well. The thing is about Mario, though, is that I think he just sells. I think he's a really good character that, is really noticeable. One of the best mascots. I think other companies like to say they have mascots like Xbox and Sony. And I have an Xbox, I have my PlayStations. I love all games. But when it comes to mascots, Nintendo just has it down, and they're so recognizable compared to any other mascots in video games. I think back in the 90s it was different because Crash Bandicoot was really super popular, but then they diluted the series so much by giving the game to 50 different studios to make the same type of game, which means you have so much varying quality. Whereas Nintendo with Mario, I feel like they go, okay, you make the paper games, you make the Mario & Luigi games, we'll make the platformers, and so on, and that's why it kind of works in a way. But yeah, I would like to see a remake of that too. I think it'd be really cool to see other people play it. I'd play it again on the channel, no problem. Linkus Plays. I would love to see Pikmin 4. It's been almost 7 years without hearing about the series. It would be great to see a new game on Switch after so long. Another series I have to try. And I always talk about this community video as being like a kind of like a video where I learn about games that I haven't played yet. Would love to try the Pikmin series at some point. They look really cool and the art style's really neat. Haven't used them in Smash Bros either. But then again, I don't really play that much Smash Bros. Hung Seabreeze. Great name. Pikmin is my favorite Nintendo franchise, so I'd like to see, I would like if it is Pikmin 4, if Pikmin 4 was announced. Sorry, that was me reading it wrong. Although it seems unlikely that it'll be announced since there hasn't been any news on a Pikmin game for a long time now. But I still have hope. The reason why you should have hope for a new Pikmin game is because, and hear me out, the new Paper Mario game got dropped. Like, it would leaked, and then like a week later a trailer was out. There was no build up, there was no like hints coming up to it previously. They just dropped. And I think I think that's Nintendo's strategy going forward. I think Nintendo are going to be dropping more games sooner than we think, and I think that's probably their strategy, especially now with the coronavirus. They're probably thinking to themselves, whatever games we know are coming out, that's what we'll like just drop. I think that's what's going to be happening in the future. I think hold out hope. Always have hope. Dango Bunny, cool name. As much as my fragile little Pokemon fan heart is aching for Sinnoh remakes, I really would like to see an Okami or Okamadon remaster for the Switch, or even a sequel. I love those games to death and miss playing them. Edit. Doesn't really have to be in the video. Previous call Atrophy, but I'm transitioning. Okay, that's no problem. That's no problem. I remember you. Don't worry about that whatsoever. Deciding on a new channel name. Well, it's a good channel name. I said it before I even read the rest of the comments, so it's a good channel name. And if you are making content, good luck, and I hope everything works out for you. YouTube is very fun, and if you have passion and you have love for what you're doing, I think that no problem whatsoever, you will get places, at least the places that you want to go. But yeah, I'd love Sinnoh remakes too. I haven't played Okami either. And the thing is, now I'm kind of saving so many games for the channel. I remember I was like, oh man, I'm gonna play like Final Fantasy like 8, and then I was like, yeah, but like you could play that on the channel like in a year's time. I'm like, okay, I won't play Final Fantasy 8. I'll wait for the channel. And it's like, oh, you could put, like, I think the other day I was like, oh, I could play the old like Paper Mario Color Splash just to see what it's like. And I'm like, I think some people would actually like to see that on the channel as well. So I'm like, okay, I'll leave it at this point. Yeah, it's some cool games. Daniel Garcia. It's the longest shot. If they release the orange box from Valve, all games like Team Fortress, Portal, Half-Life, then I would absolutely flip out. That is a dream. That is a crazy dream. The thing is, Shenmue 3 is a thing. A game that is a sequel to a game that came out 20 years beforehand. Believe. Don't get your hopes up too much, but believe. Luke Vaughn 5. I'd like to see something Kirby related. That's a very modest dream as well, and I think that's so possible. I think that Kirby is becoming one of those franchises that like a lot of people just like, that they can make a game of Kirby and it sells really freaking well because it's a very noticeable character. Parents, even though Kirby games like are challenging in some ways, in a lot of ways, like parents go into a store and they see Nintendo Switch games and they see Kirby on the front of it. That's a character that you can buy for your kid, and it's no issue whatsoever. You're gonna have no worry about buying a Kirby game for your kid. That's kind of the same thing. Like, I didn't have parents like that. My parents like bought me GTA San Andreas when I was like 9, like because they're awesome, right? Like they no issue whatsoever with that either. Like, and whatever, because they trusted that I wasn't you know, off in the head. Moodle. I'd like a remaster of the Dark Matter trilogy. Oh, I've never heard of this. Consisting of Kirby Dream Run 2, Kirby Dream Run 3, and Kirby 64. I think it really am obvious how much of a Kirby fan I am. That sounds fucking awesome. Like, I would pick that up right away. And again, like, it's a thing where, like, you know, I think I made it sound like before I was compromising for my channel. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm like ruining my life because I can't play these games because I want to play them on my channel. I like to play games on my channel. I like to play new games on my channel. There's certain games that I'm always like, oh, I should, I would have loved to do a full Final Fantasy VII Remake playthrough, but I just decided at the last second to play it by myself. I would definitely play through all these on the channel as well. That sounds really freaking neat. I don't know, that sounds like really freaking awesome, to be honest. Phantom. I honestly would like to see the DS Zelda games remade. I think it's a bit impossible to redo them to redo the functioning the way they did. But I'd like to see how they get around that. Like, will Link control solely on button and joystick inputs, etc.? That or Soldier TF2 for Smash. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah, Spear Tracks and Phantom Hourglass deserve remakes. Plain and simple. Plain and frickin' simple. They should have been remade for the 3DS. I'm sorry, they should have been. Like, I know I never like say I'm sounding entitled, but like these are games that are so freaking amazing that got overlooked because like they weren't traditional Zelda games, and they're not traditional Zelda games. They're not. They're like so different from other Zelda games, but that's kind of what makes them so special. The people who worked on these games put so much passion into them. They really felt like they were making something special, and they tried everything, and that's a good thing. Sometimes they threw stuff at the wall, like the Temple of the Ocean King, and it didn't stick, but they tried their very goddamn hardest to make a really fantastic game and a game series. And I think they did such a fantastic job, and they deserve all the credit in the world, and they deserve to have their games on modern consoles as well. They really freaking do. Scrawny Tony, I want a Wind Waker port. Yes! It's the only 3D Zelda game I haven't played, and there's no way that the Wii U or GameCube is worth it for the one game. Either that or N64 games added to the Switch Online thing. My idea is, and I think Wind Waker's a fantastic pick for this. I would love the idea of them adding Wind Waker to Switch, but here's the thing. Like, how do you sell that game again, right? How do you sell the game from that you sold on the GameCube, that you sold on the Wii U in a fantastic fashion? Imagine if you could go into the settings and pick GameCube or Wii U mode. You could just switch between the two modes, like the new remake mode and the older GameCube mode. Like, you could play in the original art style and also play in the new art style as well, with the original like music and the original all the stuff. I think that'd be such a good idea, and I think it'd be a really, really cool way of doing it. I don't know if they would ever do it. I don't think they would. But that'd be really neat. I even think like a port of the old GameCube game would be really neat as well. Not just the Wii U game, the actual GameCube game. Andrew Estel Herrero. I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. 3D Kirby game. They said that they were doing a big project and they had been expanding the numbers of staff in HAL Laboratory, so it might be possible. Yeah, never give up hope. I've been saying that through this whole video. Never give up hope. Nair Stewart. I'd be absolutely ecstatic if the Hollow Knight Silksong release date was announced. Even if it's not going to come out until 2022 or something, it'd still be better than us still waiting. Everyone in my Discord talks about Hollow Knight, and it's a game I have on Xbox. I have it on Xbox Game Pass, and I'm going to try it at some point. I think I might try it on the channel. I'm not sure. It might be a fun stream or something like that, but I definitely like, since a lot of people say since I like Dark Souls, I would like this. Clark Shark. A remake of Super Paper Mario, but the gameplay is like the first one. I just think that some people would be more inclined to play it, and I would want other people to love the game. I think it's a cool idea. I think it's definitely a cool idea. I love Super Paper Mario, just like nearly everyone on my channel probably does as well. But I think that like it would be really neat to see like a turn-based battle system within that world as well. I think you'd have to rearrange a lot of things, especially since so much of the gameplay is like switching between 2D and 3D, but like what if you could do that in turn-based as well? Like you do different moves in 2D and it takes like one turn to turn into 2D, and you could really do strategize that way as well. It could work. It could work. Mystic Diggy? I want a port or a sequel to Kid Icarus Uprising for the Switch. Such an amazing 3DS game and one of my favorite games ever. Would love to re-experience it on the Switch or even go on a new journey. I didn't play it on the 3DS, but I definitely would like to play it. It's a game that like was suggested to me a million times when I got my 3DS, but I never got to actually like try it myself. I think the original time, like when I saw it first, I think I was like, oh, that doesn't look like a game that appeals to me. And then like everybody was like, you gotta play this game. I went down to GameStop, it wasn't there. So yeah, please do port it to the Switch. It had a cool case as well. It just like, I think at the time I was just like, oh, I don't know if this game would be for me. Oi, me name's Rick. I would love to see a Kirby RPG. That is my dream. A Kirby RPG? Rick, where are we going with this? Rick, I can't even fathom what that would be. But I'm for it. I'm definitely for it. It sounds like a cool idea. Joder Or, I would like to see the next Kingdom Hearts game that takes place after Kingdom Hearts, Melody of Memory, mostly because I really want to know how Kingdom Hearts Phase 2 will be structured. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I played the first Kingdom Hearts game. Fantastic, holds up immensely. I love the game to death. I'm worried about playing the second game because I kind of want to skip it because I don't Want to do the card system as much as people say. Some people say it's really good, some people say it's not so good. I don't know, maybe I should try it for myself. My whole channel is kind of based on like playing some games that like a lot of people don't really enjoy too much or said they didn't enjoy, but then you find this whole community surrounding the game that's really cool. I can't wait to see what they do next as well, because it's one of those series that's kind of mythical in a way. It's like one of those big series. Like there's Kingdom Hearts, there's Final Fantasy, there's like Metal Gear Solid, there's Silent Hill, there's Resident Evil. Like those are the big daddies. Like there's more big daddies, by the way, and I might do a video just called Big Daddies of Gaming, but that's definitely one of them. Keen Maverick. I want a modern remake of The Legend of Zelda 2 Adventures of Link. It had the underpinnings of a great game that was just limited by hardware at the time. Give it some modern Castlevania-style combat, expand the temples into something more Metroidvania, tighten the controls up with dedicated buttons for the magic system, then maybe a few more classic-style Zelda tools like bombs and arrows. Then rewrite it so people can speak in more than tweets, and add story details to flesh out the world and tie it better to the Zelda universe. Like if they could do it, like what they could do to Zelda 2, to Metroid Zero Mission did to the original Metroid. You have it well thought out here. And the thing is, like, if I'm being honest, like, Zelda 2 is one of those games that, like, you hear so much about. And it's like, either people say, like, it's a really fantastic platformer that's, like, has a few problems, or people say it's the worst game ever made. Like, it's so weird to see, like, the talk about Zelda 2. But again, like it's one of those things where like older games deserve a chance, and if remakes can give those games a chance, I think it'd be really good. And now I think Zelda is so popular that like giving a game like that a second chance just makes sense. SP Artisan, I want a remastered version of Okamaden. That would be fantastic. I hope it gets the love it deserves. Yeah, and like the thing is, like the art director for Okami, or one of the art directors for Okami, Akumi Nakamura, is constantly talking about remaking those games and remastering those games, because she had a child, by the way. Congratulations, Akumi. Really fantastic art director. She gets video games, she gets different styles, and I think that she campaigning for this would be such a good idea. I don't know, I think it is such a good idea. I'd love to see something like that as well. I'm wondering at what stage would that be a good idea to make it happen? I think that right now, if it did release, it would be any game that releases over the next 6 months, before the PlayStation and Xbox comes out and Nintendo announces its next lineup, such a good space, because people are hungry for games. Cloud 4804. Personally, as much as I want to remaster some obscure games or a continuation of Bomberman 64 Second Attack games, Game Collection, old school games like the old school... You're picking like 50 games here, Cloud. I have such a big bias for Pokemon that I would love a Stadium Battle Royale. I'm joking, Cloud. Okay, I'm joking. I have such a big bias for the Pokemon, and would love a Stadium Battle Royale game to be brought back. But make it all so all the Pokemon are playable in the game, as well as bring a lot of the rule sets and abilities to change the timer. Being able to have older battle mechanics like Z moves and Mega Evolutions, but keeping it separate from Dynamaxing so it won't be too broken, or none at all, and keep battles simple if one wants that. Also being able to pick an array of different song choices throughout the series, both remixed and original. Not only that, many different locations to battle from, some maybe being based on in-game locations, like being able to battle in Irish Champion runes from Gen 5, connectivity to Pokemon Home, so quick and easy access to your whole bank of Pokemon ready to use once the game starts, and the people who don't have the game can still battle with people who have the game as long as the rules are compatible with Sword and Shield. Forgive me for the lengthy and confusing comment. Do not worry about it whatsoever. I love the passion. Yeah, the Pokemon Stadium games I really want to try as well. They're games that like I've seen people play constantly, and again, this whole series is just games that I've like never played really. But Pokemon Stadium is one of those games I really like to try. I think they look really fantastic, they look really fun. I have no idea, I have no idea when it's coming back, but like you can bank on it that Pokemon Stadium is coming back. My uncle at Nintendo told me. Javier Milan, I'm going to go for more niche series for my pick, and that is going to be the Wario games series in particular. That could go either from WarioWare series or the 2D platformer games. And honestly, I do believe that WarioWare is going to happen at some point, since every Nintendo console has at least one game in for it, starting back to the Game Boy Advance. So I'm not too concerned about, but we are long overdue for a Wario platformer game, last being Wario Land Shake It for the Nintendo Wii back in 2007. That's 13 years without a new entry. And even if it is a port of the Wii game, a Wario game will be perfect for the Switch and bring more new people to the these wonderful games, which ironically belong to a Mario character that I hate to death. You don't like Wario? Wario, I love Wario. I love Wario. I love his jolly demeanor and his jolly belly. He's freaking awesome. But like the thing is, like, it's hard like for me to ever like disagree with anyone's hopes and dreams, and I never would. Like all the stuff that you guys are saying from top to bottom, I'm like, yeah, let's make it happen. Why not? Let's make this happen. Let's make that happen. And like I have no reason to ever go against it whatsoever. Joe Dan 54. Hard to ask for much. I feel like I've already gotten everything I wanted from Nintendo. I get how you feel. If I were to ask for one more, I want a full remaster of Chrono Trigger on the Switch, given the same amount of love and care as Final Fantasy VII Remake. Chrono Trigger is one of my favorite RPGs ever, with potentially one of the best stories out of any video game I've ever played. Either it or Super Paper Mario takes top story spot, and it hasn't gotten the attention it deserves from the game developers in recent years. Jodan. This isn't from my uncle in Nintendo, but I will say this. Because of Resident Evil Remake, because of Final Fantasy VII Remake, because of Link's Awakening Remake, and all these games sold like monsters, because of that, expect it. Expect it. Please do. And I'm like, most of these games, it's like hope for your dreams. Chrono Trigger Remake's happening. It's happening. And it's gonna sell like bonkers. I believe me, especially if it's on the Switch. I would love a Chrono Trigger remake in the art style of Toriyama. I think that'd be really cool. Charles Levia, please, a remake of Skyward Sword for the Switch and upgraded graphics. Like, please, Nintendo, give me this. I'm yours. I'll be yours as well. Like, you don't have to give yourself up, Charles. I'll give. Is it Carol's? Carol's. I'll give myself up. Like, just take me, Nintendo. I'll give my body to Skyward Sword. I'll live in the sky loft. I'll live in the sky forever. Take me. Why aren't you taking me, Nintendo? Shen Kazo. I would like to have Pokemon Coliseum remasters. He wrote XD remasters, and like I thought he was doing a laughing face. Those were probably the best Pokemon games. Yeah, again, like it's a game series that would only benefit from being on the new consoles, especially since a bunch of children who play Pokemon games now, like my nephews die for Pokemon. They love it so much, and they're learning types and they're getting to learn types. I think that it could be really competitive online all the way around. I think it'd be really fun. I think it'd also make for great party games as well. Whenever we do get to party again. The Taste. Cool name. A Super Paper Mario remake with all the fixings. I'm talking new towns, a side quest board, catch card minigames like in Bug Fables, more difficulty options, TTYD battle system as a different option when you start the game, new stories, a post game, new stages to boss fights, new arcade games, and lots more. You forgot more Dementio. That was the thing that you should have added to the end of that. More Dementio. Make it Dementio Paper Mario, and you got yourself a deal. Yeah, no, Super Paper Mario is another game I love to death. I would play that game to death on this channel. Like, you would actually, like, it would get to the point where I'm on, like, part 400 of Super Paper Mario Remake, and you would all be like, Calvin, it's time to go to the end game. Stop going to the freaking minigame shop. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Actually, no, I'm pretty sure you guys would be encouraging me to go to the minigame shop again. I'm pretty sure. That's a really cool idea, though. Emil Callisto. Yokai Watch 4, English port. I love the other ones so much, and usually these games either take years getting a port or never get a port. Man, waiting for ports is like the most gut-wrenching thing, especially if you're into like Japanese games and you're like it's like looking from a window and seeing your friends outside play a game while you're grounded or something. It's like such a bad feeling, but like you understand that, like, you know, not all games work like that. Yokai Watch is a series that like you can get for like so cheap now as well. In my local supermarket, I saw Yokai Watch 1 and 2. Is it called 1 and 2? And maybe 3? For €2 each, which is, if you think of it like a new Nintendo game that comes out now, is €60 at release. So pretty freaking dirt cheap. Dylan Singewald. Pikmin 3/Pikmin Trilogy on Switch. I love Pikmin 1, 2, and really want to play Pikmin 3, but don't have a Wii U. See, that's the problem. I always think like to myself, like, you know, when people are like talking online, like, oh, bring the Zelda games to the Switch, and I'm like, dude, like, you can like play them. Every one of them is on Wii U apart from the Oracle games, and I think Link's Awakening. And then I remember, like, not everyone has a Wii U. Not everyone bought a Wii U. In fact, like, a lot of people didn't buy a Wii U at the time. So like, it makes kind of like sense that people would like some of their older games that they love on the Switch. Tashon Korpening? I'd love to see another Mario sports game or a Mario Party. Yeah, they said they were going to support the latest Mario Party, but can anyone tell me if they updated it or given any updates to that game? It seems very strange that we haven't heard a lot about it when they said they were going to be, they wanted it to be a lifetime Mario Party game. I guess, sometimes you forget, or maybe it didn't sell as well as it thought, but it's hard to believe that it wouldn't. Mr. Apple. I would love to see another Mario and Luigi game. Even if unfortunately Alpha Dream went bankrupt, it would be great for the series to continue, though I doubt that would happen. I still wish though. It will continue. I promise you. I promise you. If it doesn't continue, you can have my firstborn son. Deal? Deal. Deal? Mr. Apple? Deal? Alright, deal. See? Deal? Yeah? Good. Okay. See, firstborn son. Secondborn son, if my firstborn son likes video games. You can have the second one that likes, I don't know, something else. He's into, I don't know, something else. You can have that one. Death Gun. A Zelda HD collection with Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD, and Skyward Sword HD version. Or just ports of each. Yeah, and this is why a lot of people think people think Nintendo fans are really high maintenance, and some of them are. But a lot of them are just I would love for this to happen, but I'll settle for this. And that's one thing I love about the Nintendo audience. They will be or at least the good ones in the Nintendo audience, a comment like this is exactly the perfect description of people like this. Just give us some ports. Just port some of our favorite games to the Switch. We will accept it. And especially with Zelda, I would love a Zelda HD collection. Awesome Gamer 123 Mario Kart DS Deluxe remake because it's my childhood game and I love it to bits. Listen here, buds. I'm sorry for getting so... It sounds like I'm so aggressive, but I'm just agreeing with people. Mario Kart DS is a really fantastic game. It's a really fantastic game. I've been playing it on my PlayStation Classic, and it is really freaking fun. It works so well as a DS game, and it even works well when it's on the TV screen as well. I think that it would work. I think it would work. I think Nintendo sometimes underestimate the power of their franchises sometimes, and they don't understand that a lot of people would buy these games. People would buy a remake of an old Mario Party game. If you remade Mario Party 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever, they would buy these games, and I think that's the same for Mario Kart DS. Really good pick. NK3. My favorite games are Okami, Xenoblade Chronicles 1, but I like the second, and Zelda, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker. Fuck all of them. Wait, what? What? Oh, not fuck all of them. Fuck all of them. Oh yeah, all of them. I was are you insulting all the my favorite game to my face? I like Professor Layton and Phoenix Wright too. So I think this is what they're saying is they would like any of these games to be announced for that, and that's cool. That's cool. I'm so sorry. I thought you were literally saying fuck all of them. That if you are, then that's fine too. You don't have to like the games I like. I just thought it'd be really funny. Thank you, NK3. Cyber Gaming. I would love a new Mario and Luigi RPG game because even if the remakes are great, the last game came out 5 years ago. It's very clear that the two biggest series that people want here are new Mario and Luigi games or new Kirby games or a Super Paper Mario remake. Guys, again, as I said, and I've always promised, I've already promised my firstborn son, so I can't really promise anything else. But I will say that I don't think that Nintendo will leave this in the dust. I don't think they will. It's leaving money on the table. It is literally leaving cash on the table. Please, Nintendo. John Avonet. I personally want to see Chrono Break announced. It was planned final game for the Chrono series by Square, but it never came out for one reason or another. I'd really like to see it finally come to fruition. Yeah, those games like that, especially with JRPG series, you never see the end to your favorite series, can hurt really badly. If anyone remembers, I talked about Shenmue earlier. Shenmue 2 released and ended on a cliffhanger, and we didn't see Shenmue 3 for 20 goddamn years. And there's always hope for these type of things. I wouldn't hold out too much hope, but I think you should still be optimistic about one of your favorite series. I wouldn't like to see anyone not get one of their favorite series announced, so hold out hope. Ghidorah. A localized localization of Trails of Azure for Switch. It's a very unlikely dream, but I still hope for it to happen one day. There's already a fan team making a fantastic translation for it on PC, but I'd love to experience the game all over on my Switch. See, that's the thing, like especially the Trails of series, like there's so much in that franchise. There's so much in that franchise and that entire series. And like you can tell that when Trails of Cold Steel became like one of the bigger hits of the series, they were really excited because now they're like going all in on Trails of Cold Steel. So I can't imagine that they wouldn't try to release this locally and also like advertise it as from the creators of like Trails of Cold Steel, because that series is like taken off like a rocket ship now. So glad that it has as well ever since it came from the Vita. I always thought that more people should play that game, or those games. And I think that there's no doubt about it that we will get to Trails of Azure at some point. It just depends on like the timing. It depends on the localization team. But then again, Neo Falcom always do a really good job with that stuff. I don't care what anyone says. They always do really good, and they have really good voice acting too. So bring it over. The Idiotics Super Mario Sunshine Remastered. Man, like this is gonna happen. I keep saying this throughout this video, but this is gonna happen. Like, don't even like sweat this. This is a game that like so charming, looks so pretty. Apparently has some finicky controls, but like, hey, look, we'll overlook it. We'll overlook it for a freaking remaster. Yeet Spinal. Personally, I'd like to see more indie games get attention, stuff like that. There's some pretty good indie games out there that haven't really gotten really given light to. That's a really admirable choice here to pick some games that that are not even like your biggest favorite games, but that you would just love to see more light on them. I'd be the first to admit that I don't play a lot of indie games. Any indie games that I do play, usually are horror. I like to play horror indie games, but like it depends on like what franchise it is and what games I would actually like to play. But yeah, that'd be really cool too. I think that you can expect that from Nintendo for sure. Okay, Woomer. Breath of the Wild 2. 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 Never heard of that game, okay, Woomer. What is Breath of the Wild 2? Was that announced like almost 400 days or over 400 days ago? Huh? Was it? I never heard of it in my life. Playable Zelda? Who knows? Thackeray Scroggins. Skyward Sword HD on Switch. Like, come on, this has to be a thing that happens, right? Yeah. I would be genuinely surprised if Nintendo didn't eventually remaster it, but it's just begging for one. Could you imagine playing Skyward Sword on your Switch? I could. The music, the look of it, that would be wonderful. Plus, you'd have no more people complaining about the motion controls if you could play on a controller. For sure, I would be sad if we didn't get motion controls like as an option. Like you could play with the motion controls. But I will say this about a Skyward Sword remake. I would love a Skyward Sword HD on Switch. The only thing I would be against is if they change the art style or change the lining of the art style. It needs to still look like kind of like a watercolor kind of like painting to me, or not even a watercolor painting, like pastel kind of paintings. It needs to look like that because that's so much part of the style. And also, they don't need to add stuff to the sky. You hear me, Nintendo? You call me. You call me when they make a Skyward Sword remake. You call me. I'll give you my firstborn son. Mystic Thoron. This is another tough but interesting topic. There's a lot of interest, lots of things I'd want to announce from ports and other systems to the Switch, sequels of awesome games, but I probably think I'd want the most as a remake of the fourth Fire Emblem game, Genealogy of the Holy War, since it's a very good game and what I've heard, and it's never been released outside of Japan, so it'd be good to give the game a new life, as well as a lot of new people experience these games in an official way. It's easy to access, so yeah, that's my pick. I think this is more than a great pick because, like, especially with Fire Emblem Three Houses destroying expectations, I think it would be more than like a good idea to like try and give this game a new life, especially for Fire Emblem fans in general, because there's people that have never played JRPGs, never played strategy RPGs, who are so into Fire Emblem now, and Fire Emblem it's never been at this height. It's never been at this height, and I couldn't imagine this not doing well. Digitu. You said unrealistic, so here's a dream game that will never happen. A Zelda game built off the foundations of the idea of Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks. The idea that they introduced were so innovative, but had untapped potential that could have been pushed so much further, especially the mapping system. I also love the personality of both games. Listen here. You say it's unrealistic. No, let's not. I will give my firstborn son for these games as well. Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass are two of the most special games ever made, especially Spirit Tracks. Phantom Hourglass is great too because of the relationship between Link and Linebeck, but Spirit Tracks is just all around just this beautiful game that gets overlooked constantly when people talk about their favorite Zelda games and favorite Zelda characters. It's so impressive. Carol Benjamin, a new Mario baseball game. Whoa. I love Super Sluggers on the Wii, and I think there's so much they could do with this new story, large roster, and gameplay. I'm a huge fan of both Mario baseball and soccer games, but Nintendo seems to be more interested in golf than tennis. Seriously, why does Nintendo bring back tennis to every console? I don't think you have to worry too much about this either. I think that I don't know if we're going to be getting a new game like you said, but they're definitely going to be making new sports games, right, for sure. But I think you want like the general Mario baseball game. A few of these games are going to have to try. I don't know if you can get these games, but I think it might be good to do like one video on Mario Sluggers, right? Or Super Sluggers on the Wii. I think it'd be a really good idea. I don't know if you guys think that'd be a good idea. I think it'd be a really fantastic idea. Dermot Lyons, a sequel to the Layton Brothers Mystery Room. The original was a Professor Layton spin-off on iOS, but I'd love a sequel on the Nintendo Switch as it's a brilliant game worthy of the Layton title. Also, it better keep the jazz soundtrack. The Layton games have some of the best art style I've ever seen in a video game. It's one of those games that I know I wouldn't mind trying because I like puzzles on their own. When it's a puzzle game on its own, I'm like so in that mindset, and I love doing the games. Like I love doing puzzle games like that. But I'm just not good at them when they're in like action games mixed together because I'm in an action mindset, and then it's like, now do this puzzle. Yeah, I don't know a lot about the Layton series to be able to like comment on whether it's going to happen or not, but like I definitely think that that'd be like a really cool idea. Psycho Magalore, Mario Odyssey 2, please. Should I play Mario Odyssey? Is this a good game? Is this a good game? Is this a good game? What's funny is there's these spam comments showing up from David Wright and Mark Garcia, which is so freaking weird. I'm not even gonna say them because YouTube will probably like pick up the words that they're saying in this. Something dot online. You can imagine what that is. Not gonna read them out because yeah, I have kids who watch this as well, but it's very, very strange. I hope YouTube do something about these spam comments. It's really freaking weird that they keep letting this stuff happen. But like I don't know, like YouTube like have been letting the Wild West happen during the coronavirus here on this channel. You know? It's been fucking weird. It's really freaking weird. No, let's move on. Madden ZF. First of all, greetings from Germany. Hello. Sorry in advance for my bad English. Don't worry about it. My bad English too. You asked for 1. Well, I'll give you 5 and you decide because I surely can't. Hey, that is cheating. Okay, then we'll pick the first one. I also don't care if this will be disqualified because I have too many ideas. Happy anywhere in my picks. You have to admire it, right? You have to admire it. I'll give you 5 and you decide because I surely can't. There's a big joke in the Discord and on YouTube about like people trying to cheat in the community videos to pick more than 1. I'll look through all your games and I'll read out which one I think that'd be the best one, okay? I'll look through them all now. Let's see. Super Mario Odyssey 2, Super Mario Galaxy 3, Skyward Sword Remake, Hyrule Warriors 2, Mario Kart 9. Skyward Sword Remake, my favorite Zelda game. Under the watercolored art style will be breathtaking in HD. I agree. Yeah, they had some good picks here with like Super Mario Odyssey 2, Super Mario Galaxy 3, Hyrule Warriors 2. I give you your wish. I picked one of them. I picked one of them, and I think they would be a really good idea, Madden. ZF. Really cool try. That's really creative. That's really fucking creative. Another spam comment. Well done. Caden21, Twilight Princess sequel, please. Yeah, let's do it. Sam Ashbloom, a solo Waluigi game. Will it happen? I have no idea. Waluigi Sneak in Love. Let's make it. Thank you very much, Sam, for the Waluigi support. Kawa. If we don't get any more Breath of the Wild 2 news, which I want to say we will, but I won't get my hopes up, I'd really like to see a new original top-down Zelda game. Oh, something like A Link Between Worlds, since we haven't seen a big game like that for 7 years, I believe. Seeing as how its Switch is obviously part handled too, I'd surprise if Nintendo weren't planning on many more top-down games other than Link's Awakening. Yeah, like the thing is, Nintendo can go to any well that they have and really like pull anything out of the hat, and I think that this is one of the things they could do as well. We saw the success of Link's Awakening. It sold like hotcakes, and it's a game that like is not supposed to be appealing to anyone, right? It's a game that like, although some people might love, it has an art style that is not doesn't look anything like Breath of the Wild, doesn't look anything like the new Mario games. It looks like a bunch of claymation toys, which I love. But yeah, like, hold out hope, dude. I think stuff like that could happen easily. Nintendo have such a big assortment of stuff, and they could make anything at any second. M&L, Mario Galaxy 3. Mario Galaxy 3, well, I think Mario Galaxy 3 releasing depends on the success of the Mario, if they re-release Mario Galaxy on the Switch, and I think they will. Guys, that was really fun to hear all you guys' hopes and dreams. It made me want my hopes and dreams too. I was asked a question in my live stream, what game would I love to see more announced, and it's just like, I'd like to see a Persona 4 Golden port. And before people say stop port begging, I want to say something about port begging. First of all, for the Switch, port begging. Nintendo loves when people port beg. Port beg. They love it. Like, I'm not joking. Like, there's never a time when Nintendo will be like, unless if you're being aggressive about it, but if you're just like, hey, I'd love this on the Switch, that's different. Obviously, don't be like, fucking put this on or I'm gonna kill you. Nintendo love the idea of more people asking for games on their console, because why? It shows interest in the console. It also puts them up in search terms. It puts everything up, like, analytically and factually. You tweeting at Nintendo and being like, hey, can we get, in a very polite way, by the way, can we get a new Yu-Gi-Oh game on the Switch? It literally puts Nintendo up in the search terms. It literally makes them more popular. It factually. And I'm not port begging because I love Persona 4 Golden. I've played it on the Vita like 3 times. I would just love more people to play it. I want everyone to experience Persona. I don't think there's anything wrong with that whatsoever. I want everyone to be able to play my favorite game franchise. That's all I gotta say. Thank you guys so much for watching. And no one thought the Final Fantasy would ever come onto a Nintendo console again. Then they brought Final Fantasy 12 to it in the remaster, and it was the first Final Fantasy game since like 6 that was on the console. So never say never. I'll see you guys very soon. Thank you so much for watching this. This channel means the world to me.